A teacher starts by explaining meteor showers, which have been common recently and seen in their city. In class, we met Julia, her friend Svetlana, and a smart young man named Google. On the way home, Julia asks her dad, Mr. Lebedev, who is in the army, if she can watch the big meteor shower tonight. But Julia's father won't let her go because he worries about her safety, and this makes Julia upset. Then, she calls her boyfriend, Artem. In space, a spaceship from another planet crashes after a meteor hits it, and it falls towards Earth. Military radar spots the alien ship moving very fast, between 500 and 900 kilometers per hour, and it's getting faster. The military sends 2 warplanes to meet the alien ship. Artem picked up Julia, and then she decided to go out and meet her friend Svetlana on a building's roof. Lots of people watched the very rare meteor shower. After getting the key to Svetlana's room, Julia and Artem go inside, while Svetlana listens to music alone and watches the meteor shower with binoculars. The fighter jets chasing the alien ship were told to shoot missiles, which badly damaged the alien ship. People watching the meteor shower got scared and ran away when an alien ship came towards them. Svetlana watched the meteor shower with binoculars and didn't notice the alien ship falling toward her until it was too late. So, an alien ship hit Svetlana on the building. The building fell apart, scaring Julia and Artem, and they almost fell from up high. After the alien ship crashed, the soldiers approached it and took defensive positions. Colonel Lebedev and a man named Pokin walked toward the alien ship, and then an alien came out. They stood face to face, and it was clear the alien meant no harm to Colonel Lebedev and Pokin. Actually, the alien seemed to get Pokin's meaning. Sadly, Pokin, who was already anxious, passed out unexpectedly. The alien spoke to Colonel Lebedev after that. At headquarters, Colonel Lebedev told the leaders the alien spoke Russian and asked everyone to stay away from its ship to prevent death. But some worried officials wanted to attack first. Lebedev persuaded them to wait and observe, as avoiding war with the alien was the immediate priority, a view the president later supported. Now we see Julia in the hospital. She is awake. Julia sees Svetlana's things next to her, so she knows her friend is dead. Then, she goes outside, finds a person sleeping near her room, and tells Artem she wants to get revenge on the alien ship because it killed her friend. The army has created a safety zone 1 kilometer around where the alien ship landed. People who live in the area must leave, but some do not want to and will stay home. Julia is at home, and she gets a gun from her father's safe. After that, she visits Artem at his gang's meeting place. Next, they will attack the alien ship from this location. Artem and his friends make videos about not liking aliens and share them online. When it got dark, they went quietly to a building. Artem told Julia to hide in a car to be safe from soldiers. Artem and his friends went into a shop and saw a weird thing that might be from the alien spaceship. Julia went to Svetlana's messy room without Artem knowing. Looking at her friend's picture, Julia heard weird sounds coming closer. It was an alien. Surprised, Julia quickly fired, making it lose its footing. Luckily, an alien rescued Julia. Julia was shocked to see a human face barely visible on the alien's head. Hearing the shot and Julia's screams, Artem and his friends quickly ran upstairs. Artem hit the alien and it fell to the floor. After that, they went down to where the alien had fallen. Artem saw blood like human blood on the alien's body. Then, Julia noticed someone acting like they were dead. She understood it was the alien's real body, the same alien who had rescued her. Because soldiers were getting close, Artem, Julia, and their friends ran away with the alien's metal suit. They left behind the odd thing from the alien ship because it was too heavy. Julia couldn't sleep that night because she was thinking about the alien with a body like a human who had rescued her before. Finally, Julia drove off in a car to save the alien. When she got back, the alien was passed out. Afterward, Julia placed it inside the car and drove to see her friend Google for assistance. The alien lost a lot of blood and needed a transfusion quickly, so Google's team rushed them to a hospital. Just as a needle was about to be used, odd marks appeared on the alien's hand. Then, while Julia looked closely, the alien quickly seized Julia's hand and put a bracelet on her. Julia looked at the bracelet and felt something was special about it. Google's tests showed the alien had the same blood type as Julia. Julia then gave her blood to the alien. The alien woke up for a moment, looked at Julia, then passed out again. Then, Julia brought the alien to a safe place and tied it up. When Julia felt safe, She took a shower and was amazed to find the alien bracelet floating in the water. The military took the object, which Artem found and thought was from an alien ship, to headquarters for testing. Colonel Lebedev spoke to a scientist, then left the room and saw something odd with the water. But across the way, a fisherman was shocked when the river had no water. Afterward, the soldiers met and realized the alien ship had taken all the water nearby. They saw the alien ship needed water to fix itself. Water reduced the ship's damage by 30%. After that, they chose to ship water to the dry areas. While Julia was talking on her phone, the alien woke up. He told Julia, who had a gun pointed at him, not to be scared. Julia was surprised because the alien spoke Russian. Then, the alien said his name was Hian, and that Julia had to find something called silica. Then, Julia told Hian that he should change. Hian was happy to find water after the change. Julia was worried, so she chased Hian away and followed him. But sadly, Julia arrived too late because police officers had already stopped Hian for wearing odd clothes and walking near a place he wasn't allowed to go. He and his friends took Hian's exoskeleton to Artem's headquarters. After that, they tried to cut it, but they could not. Artem wiped the shell scratches with a wet cloth, and the water made the scratches fade away. Next, a friend put his hand in the suit, and the suit's arm moved too. Suddenly, root-like things grew on his wrist. They panicked, but finally got out of the shell. Artem planned to tell the army about the exoskeleton by calling Colonel Lebedev, but he couldn't reach him because the colonel was traveling. Once Artem knew where Colonel Lebedev was going, he and two friends went there to wait for him. Here, police watched closely as they gave water to people living nearby. A mad neighbor threw a rock at the police. An officer, hit by the rock, mistakenly hit Artem's friend. The residents and police quickly started fighting. Artem tried to stop the riot, but while saving a police officer, people thought he was causing trouble. Artem was quickly defeated, then arrested and brought to the police station. But then Colonel Lebedev came, and Artem changed his mind about reporting the exoskeleton. Hian is being questioned at the police station when he meets Artem, who was also brought there. Artem smiles at Hian, not knowing who Hian truly is. The police questioning Hian are confused, because he has no fingerprint. Then, Julia comes to set Hian free. She also discovers Artem is one of the people arrested. Julia runs after Artem, who is being led away, and says she will ask her father to free him. But what Artem says makes Julia angry. Julia gets Hian out of the room, then tells him to visit her father because she thinks the silica he wants is at the army base. Julia lies and says she is having a baby so she can see her father. Julia gives Hian the card when her father isn't looking. Knowing where the silica is from the security video, Hian wears protective gear and uses Lebedev's card to trick the scientists, making them believe he is Lebedev so he can handle the object. Hian opens it, takes the silica, and quickly goes. The confused scientists quickly understand it's not Colonel Lebedev, so they sound the alarm. When the alarm sounds, Lebedev comes and gets Julia and Hian, who has appeared, into a military car and tells the driver to go home. Artem is released and his friends pick him up. After that, they go back to their base and get ready to attack the alien ship. Artem then calls Julia and asks her to come, but she says no. When Hian got to Julia's house, she showed him her dog, and he immediately knew it was not well. Then, Hian gives the dog the powder, and the dog quickly gets better. As they eat, they see on TV that Hian is wanted by the police because his face was on security cameras, and Julia's father's soldiers are arriving at the house. Then, Julia brings Hian to the Google headquarters. Now, Google sees videos made by Artem and his friends that show aliens in a bad way, and these videos are making people dislike aliens. Julia retrieves the gun Google held, and goes to a concert with Hian, feeling safer. At the concert, a friend of Artem sees them arrive and tells Artem. Then, Hian asks Julia to visit his beautiful planet. Hian says his planet is similar to Earth, but people there hardly ever die. His ship crashed after a meteor struck it, and then people on Earth shot at it, making the damage worse. Hian warns that Saul will blow up the ship if anyone goes inside. Hian says he will not use his technology to harm people, even if he is in danger, because it is against the rules. He also says he will leave Earth when the silica is back on his ship. Later, Julia takes Hian to his ship, but Artem and his friends stop them. Then, Artem beats Hien badly until Hien almost loses consciousness, and Artem's friend steals Hien's silica. Julia keeps asking Artem to protect Hien, but this makes Artem mad, so he hits Julia. When Artem hits Julia, Hien gets up and beats all of Artem's friends until they cannot move. A friend of Artem's pulls out a gun to shoot Hien, but he accidentally shoots his own friend. Meanwhile, police arrive, Artem and a friend run away, but Hien is arrested and taken to the base. Artem and his friend escape, and then lied, saying an alien killed their friend, and asked everyone against aliens to meet. Once the groups against aliens meet, Artem gives a speech that makes people angry. Then, the crowd becomes chaotic, and starts moving to attack Hien's ship together. Fighting erupts as people try to force their way onto Hien's ship, which is guarded by soldiers. Artem goes back to base and tries Hien's robot suit. Julia tells her father that the army shot down the alien ship, and that Hien is an alien. Hien warns Lebedev that Saul will blow up the ship if anyone gets near it. Julia's father didn't believe her, so she grabbed a gun, pointed it at his head, and threatened suicide if they couldn't leave. Lebedev has to let them go in a military vehicle. After Julia and Hien leave, Lebedev gets a team ready to track them. Now, people against aliens are approaching Hien's ship. Then, other aliens stop them, but these aliens only stop the bad ones and don't hurt anyone else. Lebedev's team is there, stopping the people hurting the alien. Suddenly, Artem, wearing Hien's exoskeleton, stops Julia and Hien. Artem stops Julia's car, making her pass out. Then, Hien gets out of the car and fights Artem, but Artem easily wins and Hien is badly hurt. Julia wakes up, drives faster, and hits Artem, who had almost killed Hien. Julia gets out of the car and walks towards Hien. Lebedev's soldiers stop the alien attackers. Lebedev puts his weapon down to show he won't attack. Artem, stuck in the car, struggles to escape, tearing off his exoskeleton arm in the process. Artem gets out of the suit and sees Hien is alive. Artem shoots at Hien, who turns to shield Julia, but the shot hits them. Seeing this, Lebedev quickly runs to Julia and Hien, who seem to have passed out. Lebedev hugs Julia and cries for his daughter, understanding she is dead. The alien walks up to Lebedev, and then they take Hien and Julia with them so Lebedev can go inside their spaceship. Hien and Julia rest inside the ship. Then, the alien left Lebedev watching as water seemed to cover Julia. We learn the aliens inside the robots aren't in control. A voice inside said it was Saul. Saul tells Lebedev they are rebuilding Julia's body and promises she will live for at least 80 more years. Lebedev asked how Hien was doing. Saul says Hien will never die, but Hien sacrificed himself for Julia. Saul cannot figure out why Hien did this because it was a random and unlikely event, like fate. Lebedev then asks if there are more aliens, curious why he only sees Hien. Saul said Hien went alone because Earth is dangerous and other people shouldn't visit. Earth's society is unfriendly, the weather is bad, and there's been a lot of violence. Also, during that time, fights over resources caused 15,000 wars, and people have been spreading out for more than 600 years. Hien's race visited developing planets to observe them. Hien learned things and wanted to know if Earth was ready to meet his race, but he thought the answer would be no. But the first guess could still be wrong because of other things, especially what Hien decides to do. We can't know his plans yet, and Saul might not understand Hien and Julia's relationship. We will check these results, and what happens next depends on Hien, because Saul doesn't fully know him. Lebedev says some things matter more than living forever. Next, we see Julia waking up and going to Hien, who is still out cold. The movie ends with Hien's spaceship taking off from Earth, spraying tons of water. Hien lives. In the end, Julia, with her dog and the bracelet from Hien, is seen shining brightly. 3 years have passed since aliens came to Earth secretly. Countries are building up their protection, like the USA, Russia, and China. A new satellite will watch space, so we always see any unknown objects coming near Earth. When the satellite opens, we see a weird alien ship moving its tentacle arms. Then, a spacecraft separates, flies to Earth, and enters the air. In the ocean, the spacecraft is moving underwater like a submarine. Later, Yulia jogs into an apartment complex with her dog. The dog ran away and didn't return when she called. She asks the men with her to help look for him. In class, her friend asks about the lab's news. She warns him that if she tells him anything, her guards will immediately shoot him. After class, Yulia's friend wants to tell her he loves her, but she stops him because she thinks it's safer if they just stay friends. Her guards take them to her father's car. The kid says proudly he works at Relum, and someone drives him there. He walks into the building, but the security guard asks for his ID, which reveals he is only an intern. Yulia and her dad continue driving, and he playfully suggests helping her escape and secretly take her to a different country. They get to a Russian military lab and see a robot breaking down doors and destroying a car. Yulia's father asks a scientist at the lab about the lab. The scientist says it's a type of technology that uses living things. A person controls the robot using a radio. People are saying it's a movie made together by Russia and aliens. The scientist then says that Yulia helps explain everything. At the same time, Yulia is doing an experiment inside the building. The lead scientist questions her about seeing the alien spaceship and watches how she reacts, not just what she says. He didn't want to answer her question about the friend who died, but then her boyfriend was unexpectedly brought into the lab. He begins to speak to her, and she becomes very angry, yelling at the scientist to end the experiment while struggling to free herself. As he talks, the scientist cheers him on, and then a huge power burst happens. Yulia is at a bar, drinking tonight. She sees Ivan, buys him a drink to show she knows what he's up to, and he comes over to talk to her at the bar. She gives him a drink before they go, but another man arrives and says they must leave now. Håkan tells Yulia he is Håkan, and that she must go with him, but she does not want to. Ivan and Håkan begin to fight, but Yulia hits the soldier's head, making him unconscious. Håkan and she go out of the bar and name the alien spaceship Sol. It shows their location and gets them a ride, connecting them with a car already carrying 2 people. It spreads the online story that aliens have returned to Earth. In the car, Håkan warns Yulia that the experiments went too far and they are in danger, so they must leave right away. The car was going very fast and nearly hit someone walking, but it stopped suddenly. Then, the driver told the other people in the car to leave. Håkan and Yulia are still riding in the car. Ivan chases them and shoots a tire. He crashes his car, but Sol follows him and rescues him. Ivan calls the general to say he lost the troop. Sol takes Håkan and Yulia to a faraway spot in the forest. She walks in slowly, but her dog is there to greet her. Yulia tells Håkan she believed he had died. He appears to be the alien she helped before. He said that last time, nothing went right. They enter the house and discuss his life on Earth. Håkan tells her he should have left after their first meeting, but he broke the rules and remained on Sol, near Earth. They kiss and then have sex while Sol transforms. It becomes uncooked. The next day, Yulia phones her father and says she is with Håkan. She says she must go because she's not from Earth, and begs him to keep it a secret. But the general tells his soldiers to follow her signal. Yulia returns to the house, and Håkan is there, waiting with breakfast. A police team has surrounded the house where Håkan and Yulia are, and they are prepared to go inside. Lev orders them to stop, but Ra changes the order to kill. The team goes inside. Håkan pushes some soldiers away, and then he and the other person run away. His ship is ready and waiting for them by the river. Håkan jumps in, but the soldiers chase them and shoot Yulia while she enters the ship. Håkan takes flight. Then, he got orders to fire a missile, but Håkan destroyed it in the air. But the ship is still broken, so it crashes down into the river. Håkan wants to talk to Sol, but Ra says Yulia needs help. Ra gets ready to fight and fires at the ship. Artem fooled his guard at the base, got into the robot, and escaped. He reaches a bridge by the river and learns that soldiers are waiting to attack the ship. The ship sails on the water, but helicopters shoot at it. It jumps from the water and drops down, with water trailing behind. Finally, it falls to the ground. The helicopters are ready, waiting for Ra to tell them to attack. Then, Artem and the robot suit leap onto one helicopter and tear it apart. The general arrives at the ship to look for Yulia, but she and Håkan are already gone. When they find Artem, he sees she is injured. He tells them he will find a doctor, and they carry her to an ambulance. The aliens are attacking the city. He wants revenge, but the vice premier needs proof before agreeing. Lev wants rules now that say they can only use old-fashioned technology to talk to each other. The deputy prime minister agrees, so they start getting ready to change over. At the same time, Håkan, Yulia, and Artem go to a store to buy water for her. Hawken goes inside to find the water he wants, and then pays for it. Everyone's phones are ringing. People in the store are talking about Yulia and a possible attack. Everyone is hearing the same thing about her. They must find and kill her. When Hawken gets back to the car, a woman in the next car sees Yulia. Yulia is now widely hated because digital media is flooded with the same negative information about her. A police officer visited Google to ask about Yulia. Grandmother tells the officer to leave, then shuts the door and asks where his friends are hiding. They were inside the closet. Then, Artem and Hawken dunked Yulia in the water. Hawken says she is not human anymore. He believes pain is transforming her, making her very strong, maybe too strong. Ra believes killing her could protect others from her abilities, so it seeks to eliminate her. Afterward, Google and Artem deliberately get Hawken drunk and take him to the defense ministry. Artem forces Google to do it. When they get there, Yulia's father is waiting to kill them. Google searches and informs him of his daughter's location. He faces Hawken and asks him to share the secret location of Ra. The general orders Ivan to find Yulia and bring her straight to him in secret. Because the observatory is in Ra, the general will contact the vice premier to discuss what to do next. They choose to attack, but first must destroy a satellite to hide their actions and prevent future issues. The army orders Google to destroy Realm's satellite. After the satellite shuts off, it will quickly restart. They will attack Ra using a hidden weapon that the vice premier denies exists, but it really does. The general makes him believe they must do it. Yulia wakes up in the bathtub. She is healed now. As she prepares to leave the apartment, Ivan arrives. He is taking her somewhere. They waited for the rocket to hit Ra and were happy when it did. But the commander still doubts it. He needs a complete report and proof with pictures or video that the alien spaceship is destroyed. Ivan is driving her car through the crowd. Even though he doubts her, he does bring her to the ministry to see her father and the others. Ivan is unhappy with the leader and resigns immediately. Hawken talks to Ra on a phone. It tells him it is ready to punish because it thinks humans deserve nothing. Ra says Hawken can return, but Hawken refuses because he still trusts people. The big spaceship destroys the planet, and everyone can see it, even from the defense ministry tower. Ra is mad because the humans are misusing its technology to build weapons, such as Yulia. It forms a large bubble of water around the mosque. The general orders Hawken to take Yulia to the helicopter on the roof. He is still inside the dome. Hawken returns to the general, requests his shuttle, understanding it's a suicide mission to chase her with a gun. Artem tries to save her, but he is shot. The water is now surrounding them, but Ivan is scared. The water washes over them. Hawken is approaching Ra and will soon steer the ship there underwater. Yulia's bracelet turns on, shooting water at Ra, while Hawken approaches it. Yulia pulls Ra out of the water, then helicopters start shooting at him. Yulia launches the boat, then the military destroys it with a missile. Quickly, the water goes back, and people rise to breathe. The general is also still alive. Hawken's ship moves backward because of the water left as Ra dies. He shows up on the roof near Yulia. The aliens are gone, and we are safe. At the end, the general goes to a pretend funeral for his daughter, and then a helicopter flies over Kamika. A person gets off the plane with their dog. He is following someone to a place, and when he arrives, he sees Yulia and Hawken. They hug and ask, "What should we do now?" Yulia touches the water, then a spaceship rises up.